Hello, everybody. I appreciate you taking the time to watch my critique presentation for my final project for layout design. For my cookbook assignment, I wanted to make a game day barbecue or game day foods type of book, and so I called it Game Day with Grill Dad by Brandon Peterson, and wanted to kind of have my main colors be black and orange. Created this with like Adobe fonts, and for the logo on this part up here, and then I made the football helmet and the grill using Adobe Illustrator, trying to have a graphic that I could use. So that's my cover. And for the opening page, these are my like page elements that'll show up on everything, with the Game Day with Grill Dad logo up there, and then also a miniature version of the helmet. And I have the page number down here. Originally I had the page number in the middle since it would be for an ebook, but then I kind of ran into some problems where it was running into different elements of my layout, so I decided to move it over into the right hand corner for that. Little about the book page. And so this right here, where I use the same type as with Grill Dad and kind of angled, that's kind of like the heading for each of my sections for this that I would then use for my table of contents links. And then here's my paragraph style, and then that's kind of the text for that little background picture there. All of the images that I used for this were from Unsplash and Pixabay, so all okay to use for any purpose with any of those things. Here's the table of contents, so a little graphic here on the side, and then these are linked using the way that we were shown in class for it with those elements. So those kind of take you through to the different pages of the book. Alright, and then I thought the first page, something where I just kind of talk about the things that I like to use when I'm making food for game day, like the methods I use or the rubs that I use. And I also thought this would be a good place to use my external links that were part of the assignment. So with the pellet head part here, I have an external link taking us to Traeger.com, one for KamadoJoe.com, one to AmazingRibs.com, but then also to a specific location in AmazingRibs.com. Link for HotTam.com, which is where the hot sauce is, and then a link to some YouTube videos I had made with some of these recipes. So, and then I put this logo down here that I had created for a podcast video series that was used a long time ago, where we were making like tips for people to follow on game day at tailgating and things like that. So we made these into aprons, and I thought that'd be good to put into this document. So just went with the two columns right here, and then so there's this page. Moving down, so each page or each recipe I have is paired with like a sporting event from kind of an activity or whatever. So for the Masters, I have a picture of this. I could not find a good picture of pimento cheese dip, and just didn't really have time to make that particular recipe at this point in time. So I went with the golf picture, and then just kind of talk a little bit about my love for the Masters, and then my recipe for this pimento cheese dip, and two column obviously with this right here. And then so this is paragraph style for the description, this condensed and slightly italicized. And then for the recipe, since this is kind of the most important to read, it's the same typeface, but just not italicized. And then I have like it bolded there. So trying to establish my hierarchy of type with the heading, and then we have these elements, and then underneath that, this text here is italicized, and The rest of this is not. So hopefully that makes it easier for people to read. For the opening day for baseball, so we're Philadelphia sports fans in our house. So I had to put something in there for crab fries and Phillies baseball. So picture of the Fanatic I found, I believe on that one was on Pixabay, and then a picture of some French fries, and then information about it and the layout. So this is kind of our Works Anytime layout a little bit, elements from that to kind of go with that page. Scrolling down, so this one here is for chili cheese dip. And from bowl games, I originally didn't have this orange element behind it, and I don't think I had an orange border around this picture, but since I kind of wanted that to be a theme, I decided to put that in there. So I don't know, if this orange down here is too much, that's something I would appreciate feedback on. And then the picture here with a little text wrapping, since we learned how to do that this term, so I thought I should try to fit that in at least one place, and went with this shape for it. Scrolling down, another kind of Works Anytime layout from Wink Balls. We have the description here, and I thought anytime I add a note, I wanted to have this text like this, but it also is close to this here, and I thought it would maybe be a good idea to go with the orange background behind it to kind of set the note aside a little bit. So I thought that would work nicely right there. This page here, again the 2-column, so I wanted some variety of layouts, but I didn't want to go too crazy. So we see a lot of 2-column layouts, and we see some of these Works Anytime layouts, trying to fit those in for that. I originally, this whole picture was colored, but then it was really hard to see this up here. Not that it needs to be super visible, but I thought, well, I would just select around that in Photoshop and you know, desaturate the outside to kind of stick that out, stand it out a little bit up there for that layout. And then here we have our little note element. On this one here, 2 columns, but I did have a little bit of text up here, so I went with multiple circles and kind of overlapped them on the side for that layout. This one here, more text, a lot of text with this one. Some of them just have more steps than others. And so picture of a hamburger right there, and then I used the circle element with the border again, and then the note element down here. Another similar to the Works Anytime layout, so for the Bristol race and using the poor man's burnt ends recipe, I kind of went with this. There's a little bit of white space down here, so I kind of played around with this, having this lined up here. I didn't want it to be too full, so as of right now I'm okay with it as is, but if someone has an idea that they would like to share, I'd love to hear it for working with this area down here. Oktoberfest, this is one that I don't really have a particular football game. I live in Nebraska territory, so I didn't really want to put Oklahoma versus Texas up here, for the thing, but typically it made me think of watching those games at Oktoberfest in Sidney, Nebraska, and so this one has more of the unique title for it, but to me it's a college football thing, but it's during Oktoberfest, so I thought I would just put that name there for it. 2 columns, obviously, for this. Another Works Anytime layout. So this one is for March Madness, the Make Once Taco. So this picture I took myself, which is why it's not of professional quality for this, but we made these the other night, and at the last minute I thought I better take a picture of some of these on a plate before they're gone, so I can use them for my book project. So I have that picture overlaid, and again, yeah, the Works Anytime layout. I did shift this down a little bit. I thought I originally had this up higher and the circle was over here, but then it looked a little cluttered there, so I did slide it down, this column down a little bit. For the chili, another 2-column layout, and just kind of alternating where the picture is. And so this is a little bit of a crop job here. You can see where the picture is a lot bigger, but I thought you'd be able to see the chili and not the other items on the table. And has the information on the left hand side. For Sandlot, for baseball time, so I did put pictures here, and I did put a baseball filled on this. It's for a pulled pork recipe, but baseball is kind of the theme for it. And our ribs for the Super Bowl. So again, here we have another 2-column, but on this one I put the picture on the right hand side for a little more variety, but nothing too out of the ordinary. And then I have the Army-Navy game. This one I had the circle smaller and it just didn't quite look enough, so I went with kind of one of the techniques I used before, where part of the circle was outside of the layout. And then I have my note down here. And then I have the Kentucky Derby peach cobbler for this. So this is my information. Again, kind of a Works Anytime layout with that. So this is the last of my recipes. And then down here, a little page of like how I like to make an itinerary for this. So I probably could raise this up just a little bit, like I do have this aligned with the bottom here, so I might need to raise these 2 elements just a little bit on there. And then I have some examples of social media posts that I've used when like scheduling where I'm going to watch games and when I'm going to start the grill and those kind of things with it. And then down here at the end I have the game day with Grill Dad about the author, and so here's this information on there. So that's my layouts that I used for it. A few other things I think worth mentioning. So the order that I chose of these, like kind of started off these first recipes, you know, how to get started obviously, and then the Masters opening day, and then the bowl games. Kind of a side dish or a dip or something like that, and then like the draft, and the Hall of Fame, we kind of have more of those things, and then it becomes more of kind of lunch items to more of a dinner type of item, and then the Derby finishing off with the dessert. So I tried to kind of be a little bit like progress like the order in which you would eat food, but it's by the actual event that I paired them with, just trying to do something creative with that. The other thing that I should mention throughout this article also, so like here, and I didn't point this out earlier and I should have, so like for example with the Moink balls here, then it says Memphis Dust, and so these links will actually hyperlink you back to the location up here where I talk about Memphis Dust, and then you could click there to go to the site. So instead of just having all of those links take you to the web page, I thought here these links would take you to the external link outside of the PDF document, but then in all the locations where I refer to those in here, so like with the draft, and then I probably also have that listed like I know for sure I would have it listed here you can click on this and it would take you to that also, and then with the hot sauce and these things here, so these will all take you back to that original page for that part of the hyperlink. And then obviously the other hyperlinks are from the table of contents that take you to these headings that are located throughout the page. So that is my layout. Again, I appreciate you taking the time to watch it, and I appreciate any feedback that you can give me. I'm excited and hope to have the opportunity to see all of yours also, and to see how these turn out. And good luck with all of your projects also.